Hello, I'm Dr. Maria Justina Gray, Assistant Professor of English, NNRESGI Educational Societies Group of Institutions. Let's discuss the first unit of the English textbook. The title is The Raman Effect. We know many scientists and inventors who have contributed remarkably to the progress of the world. One such great personality is Sir C.V. Raman. In this unit, we're going to look at why he is one of the greatest contributors to the global development. Let's look at the first paragraph. Together, we will read it. It's on page 2, paragraph A, the Raman Effect. In the year 1930, the most unexpected thing happened in the world of science. A young Indian researcher, Chandrasekhar Venkat Raman, won the Nobel Prize for Physics for his groundbreaking discovery of the phenomenon called the Raman Effect. Hailing from Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu, Raman completed his early education in Presidency College, Chennai. Such was his interest in physics, his father had been a physics teacher, that despite clearing the civil service competitive exam and becoming the Deputy Accountant General in Calcutta, he still found the time to pursue scientific research at the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Sciences. In 1917, he finally gave up his administrative position to become a professor of physics at Calcutta University. This paragraph speaks about his love for physics. He loved it so much that he gave up a highly paid job, a dream job of millions of people. He gave it up only so that he could pursue physics, so that he could do his experiments, so that he could spend more time doing that work and help the world. Let's look at the second paragraph, paragraph B. By the time he embarked on his first trip overseas to London as a delegate at the university's Congress in 1921, leading physicists of the time like J.J. Thomson and Lord Rutherford were already acquainted with Raman's significant study in the field of optics and acoustics. Raman had studied classical percussion instruments like the tabla and the mridangam, more specifically the mathematical relationships that produce the pleasing effects of the sounds. In this paragraph, we see that by 1921, Raman was already well known. Great physicists, well-known physicists like J.J. Thomson and Lord Rutherford were already acquainted with his work. Let's go to the next paragraph, paragraph C. It was during this particular sea voyage to London that he was struck by the blue color of the Mediterranean Sea. Till that time, it was generally accepted that the blue color of the sea was actually a reflection of the sky. This was confirmed by the celebrated physicist Lord Rayleigh, who had proposed that the minute particles in the air scatter the blue wavelength from the sun's white rays. However, Raman was not convinced by this explanation. He speculated that the blue color of the sea could be caused by the scattering of sunlight by the water molecules. To verify his speculations, he used a polarized nickel prism on a sample of seawater to show that light was indeed scattered by the water molecules, a phenomenon that he called molecular diffraction. In this paragraph, we see how seriously he thought about the blueness of the water, the Mediterranean Sea. He didn't just accept any theory that some great, powerful scientist had offered to the world. He had his own ideas and he wanted to explore. let's go to the next paragraph, paragraph C. It was during this particular sea voyage to London that he was struck by the blue color of the Mediterranean Sea. Till that time, it was generally accepted that the blue color of the sea was actually a reflection of the sky. This was confirmed by the celebrated physicist Lord Rayleigh, who had proposed that the minute particles in the air scatter the blue wavelength from the sun's white rays. However, Raman was not convinced by this explanation. He speculated that the blue color of the sea could be caused by the scattering of sunlight by the water molecules. To verify his speculations, he used a polarized nickel prism on a sample of seawater to show that light was indeed scattered by the water molecules, a phenomenon that he called molecular diffraction. Let's go to the next paragraph, paragraph D. On his return to India, he initiated research in 3 areas: the scattering of light by liquids, the scattering of X-rays by liquids, and the viscosity of liquids. Of these 3, it was a work in the first area that fetched him the Nobel Prize. Over the next 7 years, he, along with his distinguished associates such as K.R. Ramanathan and K.S. Krishnan, conducted and supervised many experiments along these lines. On the morning of 28 February 1928, Raman and his associates had irrefutable proof of the modified radiations observed in the scattering experiments due to molecular vibrations. The discovery was announced through the Associated Press on 29 February and 8 March. Raman sent a detailed note along with an explanation to Nature. It was with a sense of affirmation that he addressed the gathering at the South Indian Science Association on 16th March 1928 with the following words. I propose to speak to you this evening on a new kind of radiation or light emission from atoms and molecules. By this time, the experiments were replicated and the findings were confirmed, thereby leading Raman to the inevitable Nobel Prize. Raman had achieved what he had claimed in 1924. At a meeting of the Royal Society of Fellows, he had announced that he would win the Nobel Prize in Physics in the next 5 years. In this paragraph, we see how Raman, along with his associates, proved his theory of molecular diffraction. He had such confidence in his theory that he had already announced that he would surely win the Nobel Prize for this theory. Now, let's go to the next paragraph, paragraph E. So, what essentially is a Raman effect? Raman discovered that when a light beam travels through a medium, it is deflected by the molecules in the medium. Very interestingly, a small part of the emerging light beam, after being deflected by the molecules, had a different wavelength and color from the phenomenon, which initiated the study called Raman spectroscopy. Today, Raman spectroscopy finds a lot of applications in various areas such as the study of the molecular structure of compounds, handheld scanners for detecting drugs and explosives, the pharmaceutical industry, and medical diagnostics. Now, let's look at the post-reading activity. Choose a sentence that best summarizes the main idea in each paragraph of the text. Go back to the text, read each paragraph quickly, and identify the main idea. Please pause and do that. Let's discuss the answers. Paragraph A, number 2. Paragraph B, number 2. Paragraph C, number 1. D, number 1. E, number 1. Let's go to the next activity now. Answer these questions. Why was Raman awarded the Nobel Prize? According to Raman, why is the sea blue in color? Please look at the text again and tell me which paragraphs you can find the answers in. Pause and read. Okay, the answer to question A is in paragraph E, and to B is in C and D. Now let's move on to vocabulary. You must be aware of suffixes and prefixes. Suffixes and prefixes are called affixes. Okay? And the process of adding these affixes to words is called affixation. When we add a suffix or a prefix to a word, it can change the meaning, and it can also change the grammatical category of the word. And the word to which we add the prefix or suffix is called the root word. Right? Now let's look at some examples here under vocabulary. We have do. This is for prefixes. Do, undo. Sincere, insincere. Judge, misjudge. Engage, disengage. Biography, autobiography. Then we have suffixes. Nation, national. Drive, driver. Enjoy, enjoyment. Inspire, inspiring. Motivate, motivated. Now please do task 1, 2 and 3, and we will then discuss the answers. Pause and do the exercises. Let's look at the answers now. Task 1. The first one is done already for us. Lead, mislead. Qualify, disqualify. Possible, impossible. Climax, anticlimax. Confirmed, unconfirmed. Task 2. Person, personal. Create, creative. Beauty, beautiful or beautify. Excite, excitement. Pain, painful. Task 3. The techno giant was penalized heavily for using customers' personal information without authorization. Number 2. The motto for the new PM should be minimum interference but maximum governance. 3. The ruling party is facing a strong anti-incumbency wave in the upcoming assembly polls. The possibility, number 4, the possibility of extraterrestrial life has always attracted people's attention.